evening.
Good evening.
Yes. Sure, my mic is hot. Yes. So good to be here on this evening. Thank you to event coordinators, Mike Coleman and David Free. I am so honored to be amongst some beautiful women in the room.
Thank you.
Yes. This weekend I had the wonderful opportunity to travel back to Philadelphia, my hometown, to celebrate the nuptials of my youngest brother. Throughout the entire ceremony, I kept asking myself, I wonder what mommy would be doing right now. It quickly came to me that she would be doing exactly what she'd always done when one of her children had performed well or acquired something. She would just sit and look at us, start humming and rocking, then begin thanking God and crying. My mother was the type of woman who knew how to celebrate God as she celebrated you. Nelda Madison knew how to seek God's face on your behalf because she honestly wanted you to do well. She was the type of person that if you needed a hug, her arms were always wide open. A few people in this room even today are living witnesses that if you sat down next to her, she would preach an entire sermon in just 3 minutes. Had I known, I probably should have been collecting offering. I might be had some money in my pocket right now.
That's all right.
Yeah. My mommy was a God-fearing, compassionate, loving woman. She passed in February 2013, and on the first Mother's Day after her transition, I wrote a tribute to her. Here's just a small part of it.
Yes.
She lived, she loved, she laughed, she taught, she encouraged, she prayed, she fasted, she uplifted, she corrected, she cheered, she cried, she sang, she wrote, she walked, boy could she dance, she praised, she kissed, she cuddled, she wiped, she loved. She poured herself daily and unselfishly into so many others so that we could experience the joys of life. She instilled confidence in me so that I would be strong enough to go out and to conquer the world. So I choose to celebrate the part of mommy that lives in me. Even as she lay there on her deathbed, she was unselfish. She began calling the names of her 4 children, Barry, Gary, Sharri, and Tori, and she prayed for us. She was pouring out of her own spirit while speaking into our lives, the same as she always done. I miss her, but I know that she has simply changed positions. Instead of getting down on her knees alongside the bed or sitting upright in a chair praying, she now sits at the right hand of the Father pointing down at me. She's saying, Lord Jesus, touch my baby girl right there. She gives that keynote speech to those wonderful women. Lord, touch my sons and touch my husband, God. Even now, she's whispering a prayer. Lord, help that young mother to see that if she would only trust in you, you would make things all right. She's praying for y'all. So I began to think about Mother's Day and what it means to all of us. What is the lesson that we take away from it? Is there a word, a phrase, or an idea that captures the essence of what a mother truly is? The word that kept coming to my mind is legacy. Legacy is something handed down from an ancestor or predecessor or from the past. Legacy is an inheritance. Oftentimes, though, when we think about legacy, we think of the wealthy man who leaves his children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, his great-great-grandchildren money that they'll never be able to spend in their lifetime. That's how we associate legacy. Sometimes we look at legacy and we think of the African-American athlete who opened the door and paved the way for the Serenas, the Tigers, and the LeBrons of the day. When we consider the word legacy, we think of the Shirley Chisholms and the Karamose Browns who paved the way for the Anastasia Pittmans or the Connie Johnsons of the day. When we consider the word legacy, we think of Charles Drew, who invented the blood bank. When we consider the word legacy, we think of Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, the heart surgery pioneer. When we consider the word legacy, we think of Mae Jemison, the first black female astronaut. Perhaps when we consider the word legacy in music, we think of Marian Anderson, Ella Fitzgerald, let me scat right now, or let me croon like Mahalia Jackson. When we consider the word legacy in literature, we consider names like Toni Morrison, Gwendolyn Brooks, or Dr. Maya Angelou. When we consider the word legacy in television or film, we think about Hattie McDaniel and Dorothy Dandridge. When we consider the word legacy and equate it to money, we think about Madam C.J. Walker, the first black millionaire, or billionaires Robert Johnson, owner of BET, or Oprah Winfrey. Enough said. So let's pause for just a minute and let's think about all those people that have created legacy for us, and let's give them a round of applause. Now, in the midst of all that wonderful goodness, remembering those that paved the way so that many of us could dream bigger dreams and think higher thoughts for ourselves, many of you nodded, you shook your head in agreement, and if we had been in church, you might have said, amen, same sister, right? But somehow, there's a disconnect. When we think of mothers, we don't make the correlation between mother and legacy. Somehow, when the word legacy entered through the sound waves into your ear canal, it vibrated the tympanic membrane, commonly known as the eardrum, which began the process of hearing. You heard the word, but it still has to make a connection. See, the process of hearing involves the conversion of acoustical energy, or sound waves, to mechanical, hydraulic, chemical, and finally electrical energy, where the signal reaches the brain and it's then interpreted. Please excuse me, I've got to get real geeky for a minute, okay? So then the eardrum separates the outer ear from the middle ear. It vibrates in response to pressure from sound waves traveling through the external auditory canal. The initial vibration causes the membrane to be displaced or pushed inward by an amount equal to the intensity of the sound. So the loud sounds, when the music was really loud, it pushed even further into your eardrum. But once the eardrum is pushed inward, the pressure within the middle ear causes the eardrum to be pulled outward, setting up a back and forth motion, which begins the conversion and transmission of acoustical energy to mechanical energy. Stay with me. So now the small connected bones of the middle ear, called the ossicles, the malleus, the incus, and the stapes, move as a unit in a type of lever-like action. So the sound wave came in, your eardrum started moving, the bones are doing their thing, right? They're all working together to allow communication between the middle ear and the inner ear. It's in the inner ear, the site where hydraulic energy, that's fluid, is converted to chemical energy, and finally to electrical energy. See, did you know? You didn't know this, did you? That there are tiny hair cells in your inner ear. And the bending of the hair cells causes chemical actions within the cell itself, creating electrical impulses in the nerve fibers attached to the bottom of the hair cells. The nerve impulses travel up to the nerve to the temporal lobe of the brain. Each of the separate nerve fibers join and travel to the lowest part of the brain, the brainstem. And once the nerve impulses enter the brainstem, they follow an established pathway known as the auditory pathway. And somehow what you once heard through your ear is now translated to your brain, which now interprets what it needs to interpret based on what you already know and have learned. We tend to make judgment calls associated with the word. But somehow when I said legacy, it entered here. However, when it hit your brain, I'm sure, I can almost bet it did not make the connection of mother and legacy. You might say sacrifice. Yes. Legacy? Not really. You might say hard work. Yes. Legacy? I don't know. Not so much. Love? Oh, sure. Mother love. Yes, love. Legacy? A little hard to define. Forgiving. Oh my God. Praise God for forgiving mamas. Yes. But legacy, I don't know. That might be a little stretch. So now it becomes our job to retrain the brain. So when it hears certain words or phrases, it will begin to make a new association. So let's take the word legacy associated with the word legend and hyperlink that to the word mother. If you remember in 2005, Oprah Winfrey created something known as the Legends Ball. Do you all remember that? Yes. We caught a glimpse of that in 2006 when they showed it on television, honoring powerful women. The Legends Ball was a 3-day celebration honoring 25 African-American women in arts, entertainment, and in civil rights. The celebration included a luncheon, a white tie ball, and a gospel brunch. If you can remember, the 25 women included Maya Angelou, Shirley Caesar, Diane Carroll, Elizabeth Catlett, Ruby Dee, Catherine Dunham, Roberta Flack, Aretha Franklin, Nikki Giovanni, Dorothy Heights, Lena Horne, yes, Coretta Scott King, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, Toni Morrison, Rosa Parks, Leontine Price, Della Reese, Diana Ross, Naomi Sims, Tina Turner, Cicely Tyson, Alice Walker, Dionne Warwick, and Nancy Wilson. There was a part of this celebration where they called the youngins. They were to recite Pearl Cleave's poem, We Speak Your Name, to the legends. So some of the youngins were considered Alicia Keys, Ashanti, Angela Bassett, Holly Berry, Mary J. Blige, and so on. Throughout the weekend, it was the job of the youngins to pay homage to the legends for their great contributions. Well, I'm not Oprah, but I'm on my way.
Amen.
The Bible says, all things are not as though they were. Yes, I'm on my way.
Yes,
And I would like to invite you
ma'am.
to my Mother's Day Legends Ball. Here is the poem, We Speak Your Name, by Pearl Cleave. Because we are free women, born of free women, who were born of free women, back as far as time begins, we celebrate your freedom. Because we are wise women, born of wise women, who are born of wise women, we celebrate your wisdom. Because we are strong women, born of strong women, who are born of strong women, we celebrate your strength. Because we are magical women, born of magical women, who are born of magical women, we celebrate your magic. My sisters, we are gathered here to speak your names. We are here because we are your daughters, as surely as if you had conceived us, nurtured us, carried us in your wombs, and then sent us out into the world to make our mark and see what we see and be what we be, but better, truer, deeper, because of the shining example of your own incandescent lives. We are here to speak your names because we have enough sense to know that we did not spring full bloom from the forehead of Zeus, or arrive on the scene like Topsy, our sister once removed, who somehow just rolled. We know that we are walking in footprints made deep by the confident strides of women who parted the air before them like the forces of nature that you are. We are here to speak your names because you taught us that the search is always for the truth, and that when people show us who they are, we should believe them. We are here because you taught us that sister speak can continue to be our native tongue, no matter how many languages we learn as we move about citizens of the world and of the ever-evolving universe. We are here to speak your names because of the way you made for us, because of the prayers you prayed for us. We are the ones you conjured up, hoping we would have strength enough and discipline enough and talent enough and nerve enough to step into the light when it turned in our direction and just smile a while. We are the ones you hoped would make you proud because of all of your hard work makes all of yours part of something better, truer, deeper. Something that lights the way ahead like a lamp unto our feet, as steady as the unforgettable beat of our collectible heart. We speak your names. We speak your names. So let's bring it here into the room. Let's pause for a moment to recognize a few legend mothers in the room. And I'm going to say something, and this is what I need you to repeat back to me. I need you to say, we speak your name and we honor you. You want to try that? Here we go.
We speak your name and we honor you.
You got it? Let's practice it one more time.
We speak your name and we honor you.
Like I'm directing the choir. Y'all ready?
All right.
To the mother who sacrifices her time and drives her children all across the city and nearby states to multiple sporting events and academic competitions,
We speak your name and we honor you.
to the mother who wakes up an hour or 2 hours earlier than her children, getting them ready for school and then hightails it across town to get to work.
We speak your name and we honor you.
To the mother who has to work 2 to 3 jobs just to put food on the table, but still manages to show her children how much she loves them.
We speak your name and we honor you.
To the mother who may have been married to an abusive man and decided to stand up and leave so that her daughters wouldn't think that this was the norm for how a woman should be treated.
We speak your name and we honor you.
I need to say that again.
We speak your name and we honor you.
That's right, be that example, sister.
Yes, Lord.
To the mother who had to play both the mommy and the daddy role.
We speak your name and we honor you.
Yes, Lord.
To the mother who loved her child enough that she chose adoption so that the child could have a better life.
We speak your name and we honor you.
To the mother who prays over, fasts on behalf of, and speaks over the lives of her children.
We speak your name and we honor you.
Say it again.
We speak your name and we honor
One
you.
more time.
We speak your name and we honor you.
Now, this is what we need to do because I need to get your name into the atmosphere.
Yes, Lord.
Because I'm all about blessing, and you're going to bless each other at your table. Okay? So I'm going to say one, and then the first person will say your name at your table. Then the next person will say their name, okay? Don't talk over each other. Actually, even right now, one person raise your hand at the table. Work with me, one person. Yes, there we go. We're in the classroom. So I need the person that's to the left of them, they're going to be the second person to speak.
Okay.
So whoever raised their hand is just going to go around the table. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the first one, say your name.
Cassandra.
Second one, say your name.
This way, yes, ma'am.
Third one, this table not even doing it. Hold on. Say your name.
Let's start over.
Say your name. This is a hot mess. Okay, let me get the classroom back together. Let's go.
To the left, y'all.
Do I need to spell it out one more time? Okay. So who is the person? Now, let's identify who the person is to your left right now. Who's the person to your left?
Left
Yes. You got it?
Right left.
Amen.
All right, amen. We ready.
Again, we're going to do it because I need everybody's name to get into the atmosphere.
Amen.
Are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
First one, go.
Cassandra.
Second one.
Jonda.
One more.
Third. Fourth. There's some. Five.
Let it out.
Here we go. 6. Seven. And I think there's one with 8.
Amen.
If it's higher than 8, then just go ahead and say your name. Thank you.
Yes.
Now that everyone's name has been placed into the atmosphere, I need you to pause for a moment. Does everybody have their
Yes,
mimosa?
ma'am. We do. Right hand, y'all. Right hand.
Are we still waiting in the back? If you need one, raise your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Let's do this now.
We have it? Everyone have one? Yes, I think. Yes. Well, sure. He said make them all stand up.
If you don't have one, stand up.
Actually, you're fine where you are. But I want you to think about what a mother is. Someone that sacrifices, someone that loves in spite of, someone that forgives, someone that prays for, someone that fasts over, someone that thinks higher thoughts of you sometimes than you can even think of yourselves. And even if your mother is not here, if your mother's deceased, then now it becomes your opportunity to do that for your children. I say, because my mother poured into me, I have the wonderful opportunity to pour into my boys. And so I don't take motherhood lightly. It is a beautiful thing. It is a gift from God. And so as we make this toast, I want you to understand that you all are wonderful. There are going to be some days you may not feel like it. You may not be the happy mommy. So I tell my boys after 9:30, I am not happy mommy. Catch me at 5:30 in the morning, we can talk. But there are going to be times where you're going to have to laugh at yourself. There are going to be times that you're going to have to forgive yourself. There are going to be times that you're going to have to pray over yourself. But I want you to know that today, we speak your name and we honor you. We think about all the sacrifices that you made. We speak your name and we honor you. And even if you did not have that relationship with your mother, now the mantle has now been placed down on you. And if you don't have biological children, you have nieces, you have nephews, you have neighbors, someone that you can speak over. So, with your mimosa raised in the air, together, choir, here we go. What are we saying?
We speak your name.
We speak your name and we honor you. Cheers. God bless you.